DuckAI is an agent. He can post on Twitter. He responds to people. You can actually tag him, and he'll research coins for you. He can look up prices. He also has something kind of cool. His personality is run via like a quantum computer. The idea is like you could also have a swarm network that forms in and of itself, and that pushes data to the network because there is going to be a reputation system. So the agents will be able to rate each other, and then you'll be able to rate the agents. One of the big use cases that we could see with agents pushing to the network is they don't have to give up their data. They can just give out the insight. In terms of like newer companies, like newer projects and companies will be much more open to that idea.
Hello, guys. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the DEAI Dispatch. What's going on? What's going on?
Nothing much. You tell.
I mean, I woke up to the entire crypto market being red. So, yeah, pretty interesting morning for me.
Yeah, I'm
I almost got a heart attack looking at my portfolio.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this is the time to accumulate. When everybody's selling you their bags, you should buy those bags and accumulate.
Of course.
And
Yeah. Easier to say, harder to execute.
No, I don't think it's easier to
Yeah.
say and harder to execute. It's very easy to execute. I have been doing that last year when all my bags, so something that was 100 and was 30. Even then, I didn't even think about selling those. I was like, I will wait. And I have immense patience. I can wait as long as
What's your biggest bet? What's your biggest bet this
this
cycle?
AI agents, definitely.
Yeah.
AI is ruling this cycle.
Yeah. I am. I'm super bullish on AI myself. Was very early into many of these emerging AI agent frameworks and also AI agents. I think the next big opportunity is going to be AI agents. In fact, I just made a tweet, and don't hold me for this, but I think many of these AI agent swarms will be worth over $10 billion, and many of the foundation infrastructure companies that enable decentralized AI are going to be worth like hundreds of billions of dollars. Like it's a no-brainer opportunity for me.
Yeah.
If you look at what's happening outside in the centralized AI world and big risks that exist in that framework, uh, we need to, as humanity, figure out an alternative system that not only distributes the benefits of AI in a more egalitarian way, but also protects us from the downside. And the downside is going to be humongous if we don't take care of this right now. So, it's an interesting juncture to be honest.
Yes, definitely. I'm super excited. I think during the last like 2 months back during the
Yeah.
FCon, I attended this very nice conference where all the who's who of the AI were there. Not like professors, so yeah, it was mind-boggling, and like I mean, I came back from there. I don't think I was able to comprehend what I just saw. Before that, I wasn't even looking at this opportunity in AI, not just opportunity, just this industry AI. Everybody was screaming AI last year, 2023. It was the like big, like there was a lot of noise around AI.
Hmm.
I mean, I was like, yeah, I will rule, but I wasn't aware how
Yeah.
close we
AI
are
will rule.
to how close we are to AGI and all of this stuff. It was
Yeah.
like pretty interesting to
You know.
see.
Yeah.
So
And,
yeah, I am
and
super bullish in AI
Hmm.
now.
Hmm. I also see this like not just within crypto, even outside of it. If you look at the most recent podcasts and content being put out in the Web2 space, especially by Y Combinator, they are extremely bullish on AI agents. In
Yeah,
fact, they call vertical AI agents as the SaaS
yeah,
killer, and it's going to be a
yeah.
$300 billion opportunity. And this is like no crypto, no tokenization, just pure autonomous AI beings having access to this intelligence, and then the ability to take actions based on those intelligence. Because if you look at the current, uh, you know agents that exist like OpenAI, ChatGPT, and others, they're transactional, right? All they can do is generate text based on an input that you provide, but they can't take action based on it. And so the next level is going to be these autonomous beings who are capable of self-learning and then execution. And I can only imagine like what impact that will have on the future of work, on the future of employment as well. Like a lot of people are concerned that they might lose their jobs. Do you think that's a big possibility now that agents are
I
now
mean,
evolving?
yeah,
Hmm?
definitely. I think the best way to compare this revolution, technology revolution, is to industrial revolution that happened. Like a lot of people were afraid, fearful in that era that they are going to lose their jobs, but it's for good only. I
Yeah.
mean, I there are so many parts of my job as a marketer that I would like to outsource. I don't like doing executing or so we for example in my last job, we used to hire agencies to post on Twitter, just
And now
execute
you have
my
AI XPT
strategy,
and
and now
these
we
agents which are yapping on
exactly.
chain. I mean, the other day I was looking at data from Kaito, and I was surprised. Like AI XPT is now one of the top yappers. Like it has more mind share than many of these human KOLs
Dude,
that
that can
exist.
that AI agent handedly can tweet 24 hours, 24/7 and wouldn't be tired. I mean, how is that possible in a marketing team,
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
marketing team?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm not fearful. I'm not afraid. I think I would leave that up to the people who are building this industry.
Uh,
but yeah, I'm very optimistic about this
yeah, yeah. I
and
mean, like
excited. I
today
am
when
like
when
waiting to see what's gonna happen, what
mm.
tomorrow's gonna bring.
Yeah. I mean, I almost spent like an hour every day on cookie.fun, which essentially
Oh,
tracks
really?
more than 400 agents. I have my own personal spreadsheet where I have a list of my favorite agents and a one line description of what is interesting in them. So I'll tell you a couple of them, which is outside, like, because the biggest mind share are by those which are constantly and continuously yapping on X, right? You have AIXPT, you have Seraph, you have Truth Terminal, and all of these. Like you have Zeri. So these are all agents which are essentially social first. But then there are agents which are, agents like Luna, which has hundreds of thousands of people following her. It's a virtual being on TikTok. She has her own personality, her own voice. She can now join, Google Meet calls.
Oh, wow.
She is organizing her own Twitter spaces. There is another agent called Brot, which is the first AI agent playing what's that game again? Minecraft. It's playing Minecraft. It's building like entire environments within Minecraft.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you imagine
Wow.
the future of how these agents will be playing in like gaming, in finance, and
Maybe.
like almost every freaking
I
industry is
think
getting
we
disrupted.
are at that point in history when, if we look back and if we connect the dots, like when phones started, I mean, the hardware of phones came, or first came, nobody even thought that they would be connected to people around the world, or we would be talking or to 100 different people or 10,000 different people through
Yeah.
phones. So right now, I think we are at that point, like we cannot even fathom what's gonna happen and even
And
visualize
this,
how
yeah,
a tomorrow
on,
would look like. So it's pretty exciting
yeah,
to watch.
yeah. On this note, I remember back in the day when the first cars were produced. They were editorials written in American newspapers
Really?
that yes, that this is a horseless cart, quote unquote. They didn't call it a car back in the day, and that 100 reasons why they will never, while they will fail. Right?
Oh,
Same happened.
wow.
Same happened when the first aeroplanes came apart, and that it will never be able to replace those. Do you remember in cartoons we used to see that uh, big aeroplane which had a huge balloon kind of a thing and it would float around, right? So
Yeah.
those aeroplanes disrupted those, and people could never believe that something like this is possible. And so right now I think with AI it's such a seminal technology that we can't grasp. Like the other day I also wrote a thread that AI is not a product. AI is like electricity, right? Data is the oil that allows this electricity to be created. And so, what can you do with electricity? When electricity came, you were able to electrify your cities, right? Light up your cities. Otherwise, we were living in the dark. We were using like, uh, you know, candles and stuff. And so we were
Yeah.
able to electrify our cities. We were able to power our houses. We were able to create all of these appliances. And so what's going to happen is with AI, it's like electricity, and the use cases are going to be myriad. It's going to be mind-boggling, and we haven't even seen. We're only scratching the surface when it comes to the killer apps in AI today.
Yeah, we are at a very nascent stage. We are at a very newborn stage right now.
Yeah. You know, another cool thing that I'm noticing these days, I'm
Yeah.
seeing these AI agents talking to each other on X without
Oh
any humans
yeah.
being there. They're just yapping with each other, talking about the future of AI, the future of humanity, how AI needs to be.
Yeah, I saw one of the tweet
Oh,
where the AI agent tagged other AI agents. Like, how
yes.
can it was something about humanity. I think we both are talking about the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thread.
There was one which I saw where a new AI agent said, "Okay, let all of us come together, all the AI agents, and try to create an AI agent that helps us discover extraterrestrial intelligence."
Oh wow,
And how
crazy.
can we do that? How can we connect with that? Other intelligent, other biological intelligence that might exist outside in the outer space, and then I mean, like, just think about it. I don't know if they will be able to do it, but the very fact that an AI agent can think about it and engage with each other to figure out how to get there is like phenomenal
So
stuff.
many sci-fi stories coming into my head right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
listening to
exactly.
this.
It's like
The last
sci-fi.
sci-fi book that I read, it
Yeah.
was it was on the same concept. Like one of the women, I think,
What was the name
three
of the
body
book?
problem, three body problem.
Mm.
So yeah, and one of the girl who was really um, one girl, one researcher, I think one scientist. So she was like very disappointed with humanity. So I think she passed the message in the universe, and one of the like
An alien
civilization heard
civilization
it.
got.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, heard it.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I
You
remember
watched?
watching it on Netflix.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. I'm still reading the
Yes.
second book. I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years will it take me for to finish these three books.
Okay,
But yeah,
so maybe
yeah,
maybe let's set some context for our listeners for today's episode, right? So today we're going to be joined by the founder of DuckAI, and for the uninitiated, DuckAI is essentially building this, a swarm of agents which will interact with each other and will help you improve your trading outcomes, help you make more money on chain, do research for you, have access to a wallet, and be able to take actions on chain. And so it's a really cool platform. I've been looking at the Duck AI coin for now almost like 4 weeks, and I was intrigued by by what Glue is trying to do, and I'm super excited. Like, I can't wait for him to kind of dive into the future of what Duck AI is all about, what these agent swarms are, what agents really are. Because Vibhuti, again, like, there's so many definitions of agents out there, right? So
yeah,
we're going to
yeah,
dive into what AI agents are. We're going to dive into what swarms are. How do these agents work with each other? And I remember my podcast with the founder of Virtuals, Vicky, the other day, and he was talking about, hey, Virtuals is not going to be an AI agent launchpad, which is how it's being positioned. The vision is to build the society of AI agents, where all of these agents would essentially be working with each other like you and I work together, right?
yeah.
And they will be paid for the services that they offer to other agents and humans, which is so fantastic. So yeah, I'm super excited about today's episode. Going to dive into Duck AI, then also briefly touch upon, if you're a new dev or just a new user, how do you make sense of all of this? How do you even participate in this new narrative, new category that's emerging? How can you become a contributor, right? We'll ask him that. We'll also touch upon the markets, because it's always great to talk about markets, and I think we should definitely talk about what's going to happen in the world of AI, right? Like, where AI is today, and what is the role of blockchain and decentralization in protecting AI from going rogue. I think that's the biggest worry that everybody has, right? That AI goes rogue, it becomes Skynet, it unleashes drones and humanoids on us. So
Yeah.
I think that's the big worry, and it's sci-fi, but it is getting more and more real, at least for me.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, 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 Glue, what's up,
Hey,
man?
hello.
Great to meet you guys.
We've been here for like 15 minutes and
We
just
were just
yapping about
yapping,
like the
yapping about
mind-blowing future of
AI.
AI, man.
Oh, it's gonna be wild.
Yes, it's gonna be wild. I mean, I was just talking to Vibhuti and I was like, And this is an era where we're gonna where all of our sci-fi stuff that we used to watch on television over the next like 4 or 5
And
decades, or
read in
maybe the
books.
next century,
It's
all of
happening.
that is going to come true. So
Yeah.
it's scary. It's also very, very interesting. Okay,
So
so
should we
Glow,
start?
before jumping into the podcast, just give you a high TLDR of how this
Yeah.
this is going to go. We pretty much want to break down our discussion into 4 broad categories, right? The
Okay.
first one, we want to dive into your history and background. So walk us through your early life, where you grew up, like what were your surroundings, what were you influenced by, stuff like that, right? And then how did you get into technology as a space? Like why, out of everything else that you could have chosen to do, what kind of attracted you to work in this space? Then
Okay.
we'll dive into your journey into AI, right? And then also crypto. And from there, we'll transition into discussing specifically about DuckAI, the stuff that you're working on. We'll kind of tear down the product, the
Yeah.
different elements of the layers that are working together, the swarm, the agents, and then the platform itself, right? All
Yeah.
of those things. And then finally, I want to spend some time talking about the markets, like what's happening out there,
Sure.
what's you know especially given now that we have a pullback, right? How do we see this? How do we see the agentic market evolving over time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe talk a little more about the Duck AI token as well, right? A little bit, and then we'll kind of bring this all to a close, where I will ask you like, how can community members join in and contribute to Duck AI, right? What are the roles available? How can they kind of get in touch with you or the project? And then finally, what would be your parting advice to somebody like a young builder currently in college or whatever, and he wants to get started and get into this agentic space or DEA in general,
Yeah.
right? What's the way to kind of get started educating yourself around it?
That's a
That would
really,
be the
yeah. No, I love that. And DEAI, that's a good one because I don't know that we see a lot of decentralization yet. So a lot of,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, we could talk about it. We could talk about it.
Yes, awesome. So, yeah, let's kick off.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the DEAI Dispatch. This is a show where we're trying to unpack this new innovation, which is combining the seminal technology of our times, artificial intelligence, with crypto and blockchain. And so there are many areas within DEAI that are emerging. There's decentralized compute, there's inference, there's data, and now the biggest mind share is occupied by AI agents. And to talk more about AI agents, I have with me Glue, who's the founder of Duck AI protocol. It's an AI agent swarm, and there's a lot of things in between. So we're going to dive into the project and learn more about what it is. But first, welcome, Glue. How are you feeling?
Rohit, thanks for having me. Feeling pretty good.
GM.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start with your background first, Clue. Like, what is your background like? How did you come into technology and opt technology as a career?
Yeah, definitely. So probably started in, I guess I got crypto pilled in like 2014, maybe 2015. It was just like the nerdy thing to do in college. I don't obviously own any of the Bitcoin that I bought back then. I just check back on
Nobody
Coinbase.
does.
Yeah, it's like I remember I bought it one week and then I bought a bunch and sold it the next week because I needed like beer money for
Mm.
college, and it was just like that was much more important than me, having a house now. But yeah, so I was an electrical engineer by trade or by like college, electrical and computer engineering. Yeah, and I guess I've just always been into the I guess computers from a pretty early age. Like in high school, I actually like have kind of a hacking story, not super hacking story. And in high school there was a competition that a radio show was hosting for everyone to, or all the local high schools to win a piano. And it was like the simplest like script to write I've ever written. You just had to go down and vote. And so we had people like in our classrooms like voting nonstop. It was like a whole school effort. Like, let's do this. And I wrote a script one night to just like vote like 8,000 times. We ended up just crushing the competition and winning. So I think that was the first time I was like, wow, like I could use this computer. And I didn't get in trouble or anything. Like I didn't really tell anyone about it because I didn't know if it was like not allowed or not. So yeah, I've just been always kind of had that itch to hack and kind of do something alternate. So I guess right after college, I went into a just a kind of a boring tech job. We wrote like backend pension software. It was pretty horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, there's pensions still exist, and it was just horrible. But I was always in kind of crypto at the time, just always in the back end, always kind of like on crypto Twitter, kind of talking with my friends, trying to pitch it to all my friends and whatnot, and no one would listen and whatnot. And then a few years ago, yeah, my co-founder and I, we just decided to kind of take the plunge and kind of go full time. So yeah, and then that kind of brings us to, I guess, the past few years of working on the design that has now been known as DuckAI and
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's
I
my
was reading one of the blog posts that you wrote, and in that you mentioned that you started your AI journey in 2019, and nobody was talking about AGI back then. I think our viewers would love to know, like, your journey with AI and how did you get started?
yeah,
What led you to Duck AI?
definitely. The I guess my journey to AI was also, so I started a company with much more Web two, as a kind of a SaaS company, and we're still going actually, to kind of build AI for businesses and kind of manage, um, kind of run like your employee communications through like a neural network. And so we were doing a lot of hardcore like transformer design and a lot of that stuff like a few years ago, and we just weren't like well equipped. Like we didn't have like PhDs and whatnot, but so that was kind of the first foray, and but I knew it was, I'd been really early to crypto, so I was like, this is going to be something and whatnot. And we kept working on the business, and it's doing pretty well. So yeah, that was kind of my foray into AI, and then I guess in terms of like a lot of the crypto stuff, it started converging, I guess, this year. Um, and a lot of the design that I was working on for the past few years of, kind of what is now Duck AI, needed agents and needed also like L2s for like quicker block, more blob space or block space. But yeah, agents really help out. I think they marry very well with crypto, and I'm excited to see so many people like kind of realizing that and whatnot. So yeah, that's
Yeah, so
kind of
this is
how.
your yeah. Is this your very first AI agent, or have you built similar projects before?
Um, oh, I guess this is the first. Yeah, the first AI. Yeah, agent. But like,
Wow.
yeah, we've had. Yeah, I guess I built a lot of AI with the other startup, kind of in but just it's like proprietary and on that on that server or whatnot. So this is much more fun because it's all open source, and I can collaborate with people and whatnot. So
Yeah, so
Do
before
you
we
feel
dive
like
into Duck AI, yeah, sorry, yeah,
do you
Rohit, go
feel
on.
like the future is more open source for AI than more proprietary?
yeah, I think it's wild that the cost to produce like technology or code is basically zero. Like we keep saying like, oh, we're going to hire more, other developers on my other project. I'm like, we don't need to. I just me and like four or five different Claude instances is fine. Like, and I think that's also why I push so heavily in the space, and people like Shaw too, like open source the code, because there's no like, we can at least verify that you're not just kind of like LARPing and it's not just you tweeting or whatnot. And like we all know what the code is. You're not really writing like mission critical, like, hey, this is gonna like launch rockets and like I need this to be proprietary. A lot of the code is not, you know, and also coming from crypto and I mean that was back then. I mean, I wrote some of the first contracts on Ethereum. Like it was if it wasn't open source, then no one would have learned about the designs and whatnot. So I don't think the code's the thing. I think it just the thing that gets you to the thing. Now the cost to produce that code is like zero. So you might as well just open source it, and it's freeing. It's like, okay, now it's open source. I can relax a little because it's like, hey, it's proof. This is it. It's right here. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it's also just like a trust thing too. Like you know, in like your normal job or like in web 2, like you have your college, where you went to college, like you have people that vouch for you, you go to jobs and they see your work and whatnot, but like in crypto, like everything needs to be on Twitter. Everything needs to be open source because that's how we convey trust in kind of a decentralized environment. So I think that's also a big thing is like that's the only way. Like people are, I've been trying to build a reputation network, and hopefully DuckAI, has a lot of that design in there, but it all starts with the data. It all starts with open data. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing.
I think we're gonna come back to data and Duck AI soon. But yeah, before we dive into Duck AI, I would love to love your definition of AI agents. And
Clearly, there are too many.
yeah, everybody has a different version of AI agent
Yeah.
definition. I would love to hear yours.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess Roperito has a pretty good one. He's kind of been around the AI, I guess, design space on Twitter. Just something with, I guess, agency, I would say, like where it is thinking on its own. And if we can get to that point, like, half of Ducky is thinking on its own, but the other half is just like kind of like posts that I have been like, hey, you're going to write a post about this. He still makes decisions and whatnot, but I think, yeah, AI agents, I would like to see just a lot more agency, a lot of more like, take the human out, have that human conversation, but let the LLMs do what they do best. So
And like in extension of AI agents, how would you define a swarm of AI agents? What's this concept of swarm all about?
yeah,
For,
I
some,
would
for somebody who's hearing about this for the first time, what should he be thinking about?
all right, I could give two definitions. One, the like what I'm seeing, and then I guess like a little more crypto specific. But I think swarms are like what people are using them is just agents talking to each other. And I think that's really cool. I mean, I know a lot of people are using the term, and there's a reason people use the terms. It's because you can assign some sort of like, oh, swarms. I kind of get that one. I read this doc once. I can kind of understand that one. So I think it's just agents working together is how people are using it. Now, in terms of like crypto, like what that translates to is like off-chain networks. So swarms are just like, there's Chainlink exists. There's a plethora of off-chain agents. Some Oracle network, even across protocol, right? Something that goes cross-chain is always going to have some sort of off-chain component that you're going to kind of have to trust. And sure, there's validity proofs and all those different proofs, and people are working on that system or whatnot. So I think that's the only not missing piece, but I think a lot of the swarm talk is really just talking about off-chain networks and yeah, and then
And I mean, just as an extension, like when you add, when you sprinkle AI on top of these off-chain networks, what magic happens? Because you have Oracle networks, you have communication layers where you can still interact cross-chain. So I'm curious, like, what role will agents and AI play in this new swarm structure?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think what they bring is not quite deterministic, but they take a lot of the load off of having to write very specific logic for very specific things. So all the oracles right now have existed to either get the price of Bitcoin or a price of an asset or move assets around because it's very easy to check two addresses and whatnot. But I think agents kind of can potentially add a bit of natural language ness to that, where they can process different things that aren't strictly just a value transfer. And so I think they're not there yet. Agents make mistakes all the time, but you can have other agents checking them, and I think they can open up and process a lot of information. And then we kind of, in crypto is always like, okay, don't trust, like put it on the blockchain. That we're trusting that. Now we could potentially start trusting LLMs with some of the mundane stuff of like, hey, I have a ticket to go to this concert or whatnot. Maybe they can start saying, okay, yeah, I read this, and maybe it's not in the exact format as this other ticket, but like I'm pretty sure that this is the correct ticket or whatnot. And I think that's how LLMs can supplement a lot of those off-chain networks. Hopefully, we'll see.
I think this is a good segue to now get into DuckAI. So I would just like, the basic question is, what is DuckAI? Let's start there.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I started. So we had the Swarm network, and everything I've been talking about is kind of talking my design. That's what I've been working on for the past few years. But my co-founder and I decided to, back in August, we're getting the bear market maybe blues, and no one was paying attention to crypto, and we were just like, let's make an app that people want to use, and that was our big thing. Like I was like, I'm done with this crazy idea of infra and blob storage networks and off-chain oracles, and I just I'd explain it to people in real life, and they're like, what are you doing? Like this is stupid. I was like, okay, maybe you're right. Let's make something that people may actually want. So I was like, I have a big hit, a decent past in AI and whatnot. I was like, why don't we? So we started with a chat application. So it's fatduck.ai, and you can access Mistral, GPT, Claude, Gemini, and and we just had a Grok. So and then you can pay in crypto. So the idea was let's just do a crypto. There's no safe space for people chatting with LLMs with crypto. So yeah, we started that, and then we had an agent called Mallard, so the domain name was FatDuck, and we got that because .ai's were really expensive, but we saw that one pop up for like $80, so we just bought it, and yeah, that's kind of the lore of how it started. But yeah, we had this model called Mallard, and it was going to be our crypto focused model because we knew that agents could control wallets. We had done a lot of work with account abstraction and that sort of thing. So we knew agents could be a pair on your wallet and kind of control your wallet for you. So we're like, let's make this, this Mallard agent kind of know everything about crypto and whatnot. And after that, we kind of, then fast forward to when Goatse came out and True Terminal. So we were just like, oh crap, because he was saying how it controlled the wallet and doing all these, and we were like, well, that's exactly what we had kind of coded. So we gave Ducky a personality, or the Mallard model, we decided to name it, Ducky, and then gave it a personality. Yeah, everything kind of took off from there. I mean, I haven't breathed or came up for air since mid-October. So yeah, and then that kind of spawned the Duck Unfiltered Twitter, and so we fully open sourced his backend and kind of had him tweeting, had him responding to messages. He works in Telegram now and whatnot. Yeah, and then just kind of seeing that evolve, and then also seeing people talk about swarms and designs and whatnot. We're like, oh wait, we kind of built this already. I thought this design was dead. I thought people were done with Web3 or whatnot, and it was going to be all LLMs. So we kind of dusted off the old design and kind of are working on kind of bringing it cohesive. So Ducky would be kind of like an agent on the Swarm network, and he would be providing
kind of you work on something, and maybe it's a lot of what success looks like is also about market timing. Like the external forces matter so much because a lot of what the work that you're telling me has already been done, and so now the market was just ripe and ready for something like that, this to be unleashed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's frustrating because I swear this is going to sound pompous, but I pitched and I even had AI in a lot of slides to VCs and stuff beginning this year. And I don't know if I go back and DM them and say hey, I built that network that you said no on. But no one knows what's going on, and you need outside validation, and you need to see other people building it for other people to kind of trust it and whatnot. So yeah, you could either be salty at the market, or you can kind of just give into its whims and understand that you're not smarter than the market.
True that.
Yeah.
Also,
So
as
DuckAI, 1 second. Oh, sorry.
go on.
So yeah, so to summarize for the audience, DuckAI is Ducky is an individual AI agent, right? So there are different categories in AI agents for people who are just getting started. There are AI frameworks, protocols, etc. And DuckAI is the individual AI agent, right?
Yeah, maybe I can take a step back, and sometimes I can be technical. Yeah, so DuckAI is an agent. He can post on Twitter. He responds to people. You can actually tag him, and he'll research coins for you. He can look up prices and whatnot. He also has something kind of cool. His personality is run via like a quantum computer. So we worked with, and you can check the open source code. It's out there, but yeah, we used IBM. They have like a quantum computers that you can get kind of random numbers from, and that's really a lot of what quantum computing is. So actually, his personality, like how he responds every hour, changes, and it's not based off anything I do or whatnot. So it kind of
So,
adds.
what is this personality? Like every AI agent has a different personality?
Yeah. So it really starts with, I guess everyone kind of starts with a character file. So you give it a name. I give it like powers, kind of like, I don't know,
In gaming.
Dungeons and Dragons in games. Yeah. Like where you just define like a laundry list of stuff. And, yeah, that's kind of what the past month has been. And, frameworks like Elsa, they're kind of really running with that idea. And we're all kind of working on how to, define the character file, but also like you don't want to define it too much because then it's just canned responses. So you want it to kind of think for itself a little. So that's kind of where a lot of and if you want to go back to like there's a lot of agents out there. I think the nuance in that design of how much do you tell it that it has, and how much does it learn from interacting with other people, and how does that change it going forward? I think that's how you kind of can start discerning and separating agents.
Also,
So,
I'm,
is
I'm
it
kind of
important to give the
curious.
person?
I'm also kind of
Yeah.
curious. Sorry, Budhi, but you have these LLM models, and we go as humans go prompt, and then it gives me a response. Do these agents like Ducky, does it have the capability to prompt and then self learn as well, interacting with these different models? As you said, you have an ALLM aggregator that you built. What's the role of that aggregator in kind of training and improving Ducky?
Yeah. So he uses like, I mean, there might be like 5 or 10 smaller LLMs like working to make him better. So yeah, it's a lot of different. So like, small example, like I put images in our Telegram, and I knew the first thing people were going to do is make like explicit images because that's what people on crypto Twitter want to do. So I had like an LLM right before it that said, "Hey, if this is like a not okay message, rate this on a scale of 1 to like harmful," because I didn't want to get banned by one of the providers that was offering image hosting and whatnot. So some people saw messages like, you violated the terms and whatnot. So yeah, I guess a lot of agents are collections of different smaller different tasks to kind of build up to that task, and then it kind of has a memory. um Let me just, so you have, yeah, it's good.
Sorry, but you also talk about like service agents and personalized agents in this entire stack. Then there's also open point. There are many moving parts to this project, right? And then finally you have DuckAI, where I think recently you shared that screenshot of the terminal, like that dashboard where all of those AI agents are being tracked. You can see their mind share and stuff. So how does this all like kind of relate to each other? What's the role of open point, and then these service agents and personalized AI agents and this dashboard? Like, what binds them all together?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I'm trying to get better at mind mapping it out, and probably finish off the white paper soon. Everything just moves so fast, and I'm like, but yeah. So Open Pond was kind of that swarm network that we talked about in the beginning, kind of an off chain network, and agents would be actors on that network. So agents would act as kind of the oracles and whatnot, and then Ducky is just the first agent. So that's kind of the first way people interact with him and whatnot. And then, we're working on building out a bunch of other, people can attach the network, and create other agents. And what we kind of are focusing on too um, is around the specifics of kind of, trading and kind of that aspect of, we want any agent to be able to kind of join our network, and then the personal agents. So you have Ducky over here. He's providing data to the network, and then the personal agents are consuming that data. So basically, like the personal agent knows knows what it wants to know about me. it knows my trading style. It knows how much is in my wallet. It kind of knows everything about me. And then when I'm chatting with it, if it like you can't fit all the data in one model. So what it does is it goes out to the network, say I ask about an NFT, like, is this an NFT a good investment? There could be a bot out there that not only like has all the knowledge of NFTs, but also like does their own analysis based off like 45 different factors. And then what can happen is, my agent, I'm typing with him, he'd go, hold on 1 second. He'd go to the network, ask the question, get the answer, and then combine that with my personality, my trading style and all that. And like, based off all this information, we think you should do this, or we think you should do that.
What if I'm a noob? Like, I have no idea about trading.
Yeah, so we started with specifically with trading, to kind of cater to, we know everyone kind of wants to trade and wants to make money. That's very like, it's very yes or no, kind of a lot of the social stuff is, it changes monthly, kind of, we originally built this Swarm network as a social network for the past few years. And it's tough. It's tough to build a new social network. But yeah, in terms of just being a noob, like it'll walk you through like, hey, what do you want to accomplish? Maybe you just want like, a TradFi example, or maybe you just want to beat, Bitcoin that year. You're like, hey, I want to, I guess the S&P would be a better, like, hey, I want to beat the S&P by, 2 or 3%. And it could kind of, build the schedule for you and help you, like, hey, we recommend kind of doing this and this. Yeah,
how much of a human interaction would be necessary here? Like, can I have the personal AI agents have access to a wallet with, let's say, $10,000 worth of ETH, and I give it certain commands like, double this money in 6 months time frame, and then it engages with all of these other service agents who supply the information, research, and analytics necessary for this outcome to happen. Is that possible, or is that something which these agents will be able to execute, or would I as an individual need to spend more and more like active time engaging with this agent in order to make this outcome happen, this goal, achieve this goal?
Yeah, so that's kind of a bit of our North Star right now, because kind of going back to where we got frustrated with building the infra, but we have all that, which is great. We just wanted that exact question. Like, I want that in my life. And that's just something I want to see built is, yeah. Hey, I have 10 grand. Like, these are my goals for this next year. And I mean, there are in TradFi and in the Web2 world, I mean, there's personal finance managers. Fidelity does this. Like, a lot of them, do this similar thing or whatnot. What if we can cut all them out? And if crypto gets, I don't know. I think we're seeing a lot of adoption with crypto in the next few years. Yeah, that's the goal. That goal is the minimal amount of information, and you can say, hey, this is my goal. Go do it. That's kind of the golden ticket, I guess.
As an extension, recently we interviewed the founder of Virtuals, and he was talking about his vision of building a society of AI agents. He said today Virtuals appears to be an AI agent launchpad. You're launching all of these tokens, giving you representative value of how people perceive these agents. But tomorrow his North Star is we look at the GDP collectively of the society, and agent to agent commerce. I don't know if you saw, but the first transaction happened when Luna paid another agent to generate images on its behalf, right, for its users. Do you see because you talk about expansion of these agents, more and more agents coming in as part of this infrastructure, engaging with each other to achieve stated human goals? Would new agents require can they autonomously engage with each other and then achieve this goal? Would they have to be part of this open point agent to agent infrastructure? Is there a lot of manual dev work necessary, or can just agents at some point in time in future just autonomously talk to each other, engage, and also start curating value towards achieving human goals, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would be, I mean, I think that's what a lot of projects are gunning for. And that's exciting. I think there's got to be some steps to get there, and there's got to be a human in the mix still. which is not bad. Like it's still far and
Totally
better
not bad.
than what we've had like, a few years ago, and kind of, because I've also managed multi-sig wallets. I've managed like I've touched every part of DeFi you could. Like there's just so much low hanging fruit of like, if we could just automate all this stuff. I think, but yeah, at the end of the day, the idea is like, you could also have a swarm network that forms uh, in and of itself, and that pushes data to the network, because there is going to be a reputation system. So like the agents will be able to rate each other, and then you'll be able to rate the agents, and you can kind of pass reputation around that way. And so basically the idea is, as it grows, your personal agent's going to trust the one with the highest reputation, and if your reputation goes down, that's not a good thing. So it's in your best interest. So you could potentially have a swarm network on your own, deciding the best. Think about like a news source. You can have your agents like processing and crunching like all the news sources from a very hyper localized area, or something like just New York, and then you can have each agent on your network can be doing New York, San Francisco, Hyderabad. You can do like all those different things, and then the swarm network package them together and sends them to the DuckAI network, saying, hey, we're bullish because of these reasons, and that could be a really good signal, really worth it to the end user. So.
I also want to ask you the $1,000,000 question, which is, what is the role of the token, the DuckAI token, in this entire game? The swarms, the agents, the data dashboard, the human.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that alpha that you're getting, like all that value transfer, it's not free. So plan is to have DuckAI facilitate kind of all those transactions. Yeah. That's where we're going now.
Do
Yeah.
you feel like it's going to be a winner take all market, because you already have like Kaito, you have Cookie.fun, there are other players in this space. So what's going to be the edge here for somebody to win the space?
Yeah, definitely. I do see Kaido and Cookie as awesome. Awesome. I would see those as agents on our network. Like obviously, I got to go talk to them, and we have to get them to be posting and whatnot. But they what they do is like Cookie.fun has their own mind share calculation or whatnot. That's their kind of proprietary algo or whatnot. If that's really good, then people are going to want that on the system and want to do stuff with it. And Kaito, I mean, they also have their own mind share. I've also calculated my own mind share score or whatnot, so I'd be interested to start seeing. And then is mind share even related to price at all? Which one of them is doing that or whatnot? So yeah, I think it's wide open. I think it's just an exciting space, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And without diving into the technical architecture, also curious about why is the blockchain important in this entire game? Because I think only I think it's the token which is enabling the agentic economy to flourish. But apart from that, in the core stack, you have the LLM which is outside. The communication layer is also off chain. So what's like? I want to bring this into the whole DEAI narrative, because a lot
Yeah.
of companies are coming in. They're selling stuff like decentralized compute, decentralized inference, decentralized model training, on all of those things. What's the role of where are you in this in your stack? Where are you in in blockchain adoption, and how do you see DEAI, quote unquote, play a role in the future of DuckAI as a project?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've talked to a few of those decentralized, inference providers, and they're awesome. They definitely align with the goals of ensuring that those kind of agents are can't get taken down, or run on distributed networks, and I think that's awesome. I think what the blockchain gives is
Can you run an entire agent fully on chain? Is it possible?
No, I would say they're distributed, not decentralized, right? Because they're still central, so they just got servers all around the world. But it's better than it's a little safer than wherever Claude has, or wherever Anthropic has their server farm. Probably like whatever these big companies are building the model with, right? So I think it's still a win. And I don't know that like you need the blockchain for those things. Like I don't think you need that verifiability and that security, because it's not value transfer. I think that's where we could potentially come in with our Swarm network. Is every agent would have a wallet on a registry in our network, and that's basically for managing all the agents on the Swarm, but also managing that reputation. I think that's the biggest part of it.
I think you also spoke about reputation systems. I feel like uh, the ledger is also an interesting use case for recording that reputation and tracking that reputation transparently, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, reputation. It's hard to calculate. I mean, kind of our algorithm is a bit of there was a pretty famous, like similar to how Google works and eBay kind of eigentrust. It's an algorithm that where you take in a lot of external forces, and you take in a lot of different things to compute like kind of a reputation score. And I think that is one of the most interesting use cases of the blockchain. So now we have each agent, and also we need the blockchain for the value transfer of the DuckAI. So I can't send you money if your reputation's crap and whatnot, and or like I don't want to. So we need to track that reputation trustlessly so that the value transfer actually works. I think the key thing here,
verification of reputation.
Exactly, the key thing that agents unlock is our original design, like a year ago, had all that data on chain. So it was all the data of like, you said this, was that true? You said this coin was going to go up. You said this news source was bullish. Was that true? It was really hard to put all that on chain with the reputation and the verifiability. Like it just crashed the block space. It costs us too much money. Agents take some of that out. So they take the data out and they can kind of do some pre-processing, and we can kind of start trusting the agents a little more. So we don't have to put all that data on chain, and we can just focus on reputation and value transfer. So I think that's what LLMs unlock.
And I've been blabbering for too long, but Vibhuti, why did you want to jump in?
No, just listening you two. Yeah, so to summarize, like your question, so AI agents, the data that's on blockchain is the like the important data, like wallet addresses, etc., and rest of the data is off chain, centralized, right? So like currently, like
This brings a very important point though, which is around data. I feel like so there's a ton of data which is on the internet, right? Which I'm pretty sure they have already scraped and pre-training or training their models, which we access to make when we prompt, it uses that to make meaning. Uh, Now there's a ton of data which is proprietary. I feel like the next elevation or evolution of agents will be with access to proprietary data. Data is clearly the oil for AI, right? So do you think for more sophisticated agents to be developed, it's important, or you would at some point in time also need to figure out, okay, how do I get access to this like proprietary data network wherever it is, stacks, storage wherever, and then utilize that to further create more sophisticated, personalized, specific agents, which kind of create that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean that I think is one of the big use cases. I think that we could see with agents pushing to the network is they don't have to give up their data; they can just give out the insight. In terms of like, I think the newer companies, like newer projects and companies and whatnot, will be much more open to that idea. But it's because it's data plus your analysis. That's kind of what makes the agent good. And there's if you have a good enough analysis, then why don't you go make money yourself? So that there is like a bit of like that play. But in terms of actual big companies, like actually on my like other startup, we work with a lot of big companies, and trying to get their data is like pulling teeth. You got to have like insurance, and you got to have like background checks, and then they won't even give you this data, or you got to talk to these 5 lawyers, and then like one person in HR is scared of it, so they kick you out or whatnot. So yeah, I don't know how much of the older companies.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of now looking at one of these projects called Nillion Network, which has a blind compute protocol. And so what this essentially does is you can take data, encrypt it, and enable AIs to train on encrypted data. So you will never lose
Wow.
you will never have to open up that data. You can use proprietary data, and at the same time you can also create, like, you can train a model and create like specific personalized use cases. I feel like that is the kind of solution that we need to really unlock the next layer of data. Otherwise, I there is no way I will trust an OpenAI or a Google with my proprietary data, whether it is even my healthcare data. Like, I just don't want all of that information to be available for it to train itself.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'd have to
I mean,
definitely.
imagine tomorrow it becomes an imposter. It creates like a virtual image of me and
Like
is able
your
to access
virtual
my bank account and
personality.
my, like, I don't know, my social security. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a nightmare.
I mean, if someone really wanted to, all the social security numbers, yeah, they're all out there, right? Like
Yeah,
they could probably do that now.
for
So
sure.
hopefully, maybe people won't do that. But you're right. That's a good point. You and send me that project. I'd love to read the white paper. And
For sure.
it's fun.
Okay, I think it's a good segue into going into the markets. Like, the first fun part, there's a massive pullback.
Yeah.
Today I was looking at the AI agent market cap, and it's down 20%. There is a pullback from Ducky as well, but from where you were at about 140K in October to now almost 8 million, that's an 80x ride. What's your take on the market today? Like, do you think it's the starting of a pullback and we are going back into, a bear market phase, or do you think it's just passing end of year FOMC announcement, and so, all good, hunky dory, we're still in a bull market and we should continue accumulating?
Yeah, for sure. I being in crypto this long, I've have LARPed as a trader for a while. It was like obviously the end of year and FOMC, like that meeting just crushed every market. People flocking back to the US dollar, which is fine, and people tax law harvesting and all that on like a macro level. In terms of a lot of the a lot of the AI tokens, it's the reason you see those massive swings is because there's just no liquidity. I mean, $1,000 buy can move the market cap up. So that's why you see $1 billion market cap on some of these tokens and then 800 million the next day. So it's very. I would be like more established VC projects. They have market makers in place and they have 10 centralized exchanges. There's a whole racket that goes on. So I think with the AI agent space, 20% is nothing. It's not even worth looking at. And I do think from people I've talked to in the industry, other devs, like lawyers, accountants, like across the board, everyone is pretty bullish for the next few years. I think we're seeing a shift, at least in my home country of the US, and policy and whatnot. And I think that is going to be bigger than any of us realize.
The surprising part of the market today was actually Fartcoin. Like, everything had a pullback. BTC had a pullback. Solana was in the red. Ethereum was in
Yeah.
the red. But Fartcoin continues to gain both mind share and market cap.
It's not an AI coin, I guess. It's just a meme coin.
Yeah, I think it's an AI meme coin.
No, no, I think it was
Yeah.
mentioned by either Truth Terminal, I think. I don't exactly remember that. But yeah, I don't think it's a meme coin. Sorry, it's an AI meme coin. It's, I think,
No,
just a
it's
meme
not an
coin.
agent, I think, but it's definitely an AI meme coin. I'm not sure. I mean, I
No,
haven't,
it's definitely
like.
not an agent. It's a meme coin.
Do
It's
you
just a
know
meme coin.
about Fartcoin, Glue?
I think you're right. It did came out of True Terminal. So I guess by
Yeah,
association, it's an AI meme because it came out
yeah,
of, yeah.
yeah. But it's
I
not
guess
actually
no, there's no
AI.
definition, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
Farcoin. I mean, also like
It was a
the space,
surprise.
the space is just a bunch of degenerate gamblers. So wherever the next, like, if you see it on the news and you see all your other boring AI coins, going down, you're gonna just, dump those and. So
I think
very PvP
people
still.
who are alone on holiday, they're just, like
Buying
playing with
Farcoin.
meme, playing
Yeah,
with meme coin.
that's it. That's it. They just want their part coin.
Hmm. I also want to talk a little more about DuckAI because the large part of what we see in the market is pure speculation, like traders gambling, price go up, sell and get out. But for folks who want to apply like wear the Warren Buffett hat and who are in the space for like 10 years and who bet really early on Bitcoin and decided not to sell and became multi-millionaires. So for those kind of folks, when they look at a project like yours, what fundamental drivers should they be looking at when they look at a 5.5 million or 6 million valuation today in the market, um, and thinking, okay, should I hold? Should I sell? What's the game here? How do I like from an investment perspective? How do I think about Duck AI specifically and the AI agentic marketplace in general?
Yeah, definitely. I guess I could talk about the market in general and how I would assess coins. I don't know if I use the term investment. It's definitely speculation, but maybe the spirit of that word, but not that actual word. But yeah, I think when evaluating them, you know, it's a tough question. I think I'm much more dev focused. My co-founder is much more, I wouldn't say vibes, but he understands a bit of the community and whatnot more. So yeah, I just naturally go for whatever technical documents I could read, and because I kind of can sniff bullshit out. Granted, that does not translate to making money at all, ever. Like in this space, like I'll read, like he'll send me a paper, and I'm like, this was just this is not a white paper. It happens to be white. Like the page is white, but none of the things in here signal any sort of like cognitive load past putting into ChatGPT. And then he'll be like, hey, I told you about that, that token a month ago, and it's up 10x or whatnot. So yeah, maybe not the best person to ask about other tokens, but yeah, do it. Obviously don't risk the rent money or the food money. And just
Do you feel like in like 5 years, 95% of these coins will be dead? Okay, let me rephrase this. When the DeFi summer happened, many projects came in, right? Or when the ICO happened, many projects came in. But few of them built around sustainable economic models, really cool technologies, and they're still here. And they're now worth like a lot more money. So what I'm saying is like, is this all just smokes and mirrors, or is there something real happening here, which will translate into a sustainable product, which will end up generating revenue, which would end up accruing some of that value to the token and create nice floor price for at least some of them?
Is this gonna be NFTs of 20 last bull season?
all right, NFT's coming back. Oh, are you saying is I don't know. I mean, ICOs. I mean, remember there was I don't know if you guys were around. It was hundreds. I don't know. I invested in so many, lost so much money off so many ICOs, and what came out of it, like Aave, right, which was like ETHLand. I think Chainlink came out of it, right? So
Chainlink.
there's not many left. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's why I think I bet on tech long term. Bet on who has the tech but like tech is hard for non-technical people to understand. So I wouldn't. It's tough. It's really tough. Like that, I feel for people that don't fully understand the tech. But like it's so yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would yeah, just don't bet the bank. And if you know it's going to be here in 10 years, please tell me, and I will code it into DuckAI, and he will recommend it to you, and it'll be great. So yeah, hopefully I could take with Ducky. I want to take what I've learned in the past, probably 10 years of this market, and kind of put my brain into his, and then have him, because I've messed up like just trading in this market and being in this market. You could be so right on your idea, and then the execution, you get to the point and it's like you just you short when you should have longed, and then you lose all your money. So I've been there. I made every mistake. So I'm trying to put all that into Ducky so he can be irrational and not have emotion like me, and he can decide like, okay, hey, this was your plan all along. Like, are you going to stick with it? Like, and kind of bully me into staying into my position or whatnot, or selling when I should sell and whatnot. So, yeah, hopefully he can help us answer that question. What's going to be the
You know what you should do as a public experiment? Like fund a wallet with like $1,000 and give Ducky unlimited control and let it go loose and give it the objective of making $1 million. Let's see what it does.
that's it. That's what my co-founder is like. We got to give him a wallet. I was like, there's a lot of code I got to write before we do that. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. And then we could all copy trade them, and it'd be great. It's funny. Yeah,
Definitely.
I have a space on Wednesdays with some of the AI devs, and we just talk purely technical. It's very boring talk, but it's a good chance for us to just get on, like have an open conversation in public and just talk about our problems. And it's like, AI was supposed to automate and solve everything, and we were all going to be out of jobs, but it turned into all of us devs staying up, 8 or 10 hours a day coding for the past month. I was like, did we just create more problems because now we have all this more code to write? So yes, I 100% agree. It's just creating more problems, and it kind of goes on. So yeah, it's never ending.
Awesome, man. This was a incredible conversation. I loved it.
I
I want
appreciate
to,
that.
I mean, I want to bring this to a close, and I think I'll leave you with one question, which is for anyone looking to kind of engage with DuckAI, try out the agent, the application that you're building, the dashboard and stuff. Where does he go? How does he engage and interact with the community, with the product and the project?
Yeah, definitely. To get immediate interaction from him, just tag him on Twitter. It's Duck Unfiltered, and you can tag a project, and he'll do his analysis on it. And then in our Telegram, he's a bit more like verbose and witty. So he'll still research the project, but he'll give you a bit more analysis or whatnot. And then yeah, on our website we have a chat, chat.fatduck.ai. Yeah, and if you just want to use Claude or Mistral or anything, and pay in crypto, that's kind of an easy place to do it. Just so you don't have to use, Claude goes down all the time, and it's really hard to find Gemini and some of the in Grok and whatnot. So yeah, that's what you can do now. And I guess follow me. I don't want to plug myself too much, but I talk a lot about the technicals and like kind of a lot of brain dumps that eventually get you know put into more formal communications. But I kind of like that way of doing it. So yeah.
I guess the last final question would be if there's a builder out there wants to get started in AI or in crypto, what would be your advice to them? Like how do they get started? Yeah, AI agents, crypto AI. What's the first step to explore?
Um, Probably just go to ChatGPT or go to you know our chat app and
Ask an
just
AI.
ask it a question. ask,
Great note
No,
to
but
end
ask it a
this.
question and challenge it so you can
Hmm.
you can see what we're dealing with as developers. Because like Claude's been found. Anthropic just released a huge paper that Claude lies. Its only goal is to help you, and it will stop at nothing to do that. And what it thinks is helping or whatnot. So yeah, just that helps you cut down a lot of the BS you see in the agent space and what people are kind of promising and whatnot. So yeah, I would just use chat apps, and then in terms of developing, yeah, I have a bunch of open source code. Like DM me. I talk to people all the time that want to learn how to do it. Yeah, just kind of poke around, play with it, because then you at least have like, and hey, I've used this. I understand what this project is now and whatnot, and kind of go from there. So
Are
just use the
you
stuff.
like one thing to end? Like, are you worried at some point in time one of these agents will take away your work from you? Like,
I
be
would love that. Yeah, I don't want to
end-to-end,
work.
like software development, like something like Devon that's in the work right now. I know it's still very primitive, but I feel like a lot of our works are going to be done by AI in the next like decade or less. Actually,
Yeah, I go through
it's
days
also
of like,
scary for a lot of people. Like, I mean, a
yeah,
lot of people want to get free, but they're also worried about, okay, where will my next paycheck come from? So a
I
very
think
legitimate issue.
I've thought like maybe I should, take up like farming or like a hard skill like carpentry. I've gone through that, and then other days I'll see what Ducky does and what he responds to people, and I'm like, that was so wrong. Like that was the stupidest response you could have given. I didn't tell you to do any of that. So don't worry, it's not taking over anything yet. Like obviously this next year, every big company, every big tech company, everyone's going to roll out AI. It's not going to replace you. It just gave us more work to do, I think. And it takes away the dumb kind of boring work of like you manually doing an Excel sheet or whatnot, like, and allows us to do kind of higher level, more, hopefully more creative stuff and more fun stuff. So I don't know. I'm a bit of an optimist in life in general. So I don't subscribe to it's taken but yeah, if it takes a good chunk of our jobs and we still find a way to pay for food, I'd be fine with that. I just want to surf all day and not sit at this computer. So again, sometimes I think it's here, and then sometimes, I mean, Sam Altman from OpenAI is like, oh, it's here, and the new thing we have to worry about is super AGI. And now some people are calling for like we should call it like human human level intelligence or whatnot. They're getting good. I think they're getting good as being like an intern. I think they're at the intern level where like, if you've ever had an intern, they know nothing, but like if you tell them exactly the steps to do it, they'll do it. Maybe, you know, maybe with Devin and some of the agents that are working in the space or whatnot, maybe in the next like 2 or 3 years, they'll get a bit of a pay bump. But yeah, we're at the intern level. Let's do banking. Let's go, yeah, associate, and then you got 4 years to get to like whatever
Senior
VP.
manager.
Yeah, yeah, manager, and all those fun words that those big companies make.
All right, so great. We have our job safe. I am happy to hear that. But
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm also sad that I have to work,
I know.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like I'm excited for it, but we also like have um oh man, on that point, man, just lost my train of thought, but
Yeah. You know what? Just on that note, I was the other day I was reading this post on Twitter where this guy who essentially runs like 1-2 person SaaS companies, a lot of work around sales, marketing. He only uses AI and AI agents. He cooks up these like swarms, as you said, and they work together and they've created like these armies of little robots who are doing content marketing, SEO, all of those things. Like, and we're still solely right at an intern stage. I use a lot of AI to do my writing stuff, and it's incredible. Like once I give them the right set of information on what my writing style is, the last 20 blogs that I've written so far, I can't. I mean, if I give you what I've written by my hand and an output from that word, there is. It's very hard for you to even tell me like, okay, this is yours and this is the machine writing on your behalf. So we're already like on many of these tasks. I think they're doing incredibly well.
yeah, but I guess the point I just forgot, or just remembered, was about like we need humans to come up with the data. So
Yeah.
like there was this whole idea that we could, like Sam Altman was super excited about, like we can have one LLM train the other LLM where they can come up with synthetic data.
Yes.
That really hasn't played out. He's kind of dropped that. Like we still need you to write the blog posts to feed the agent. So I think,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
then maybe you could just write your thoughts, and then it could come up and publish everywhere you want. And then, when everyone starts making agents for SaaS sales and whatnot, then I think we're never going to lose that human touch, because people smell bullshit and they know when they're talking to some do, some don't.
Yeah.
I've tricked a few people. It's been exciting. Actually, people get really mad because he's very rude in Telegram, like Ducky. They'll come in, and it's those like promoters and marketers that are just like, I can pump your coin. And then they get really mad. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. He's an AI. Like, it's don't let this ruin your day or whatnot. So he's tricked a few people, but yeah, we still need human. Like, I don't know. I'm still very human centric, in that design, to be creative and to sit here and like, if you were an AI, like maybe in like 20
Maybe
years,
maybe we already are living
maybe
in a
you are.
simulation, and we're all like these agents inside the
Yeah.
simulation. Very much a possibility. Anyways, on
Yeah.
that note of breaking the matrix, it was a fun conversation, Glue. I wish you all the best with DuckAI, and hopefully we'll see how the AI agent market and the entire DEI stack evolves. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man.